Godzilla is going to the Oscars after 70 years. And I couldn't be more excited. However, I do have very mixed opinions about the Academy Awards. And we are going to be talking about that today. So
tune in for that.
That was absolutely terrible. I'm never doing that again. We'll workshop it. So, for those of you who know me, know that I have very mixed feelings about a lot of things in Hollywood. It's like on one hand, as a filmmaker, like I do dream about like making it big and going into, but also I really heavily believe in my mission about free and open art. That's where a lot of my mixed feelings kind of come from. But before we get into that, I really wanted to talk about art history, and it is relevant. So this idea of like art being from a individualistic place of, raw self-expression or whatnot, creating art because you're creative and you want to create things, that's a relatively new concept. The majority of human history, art was an academic field, not a creative one. And it wasn't until about like the 1840s when that really changed. It hasn't even been 200 years, right? Right, I think I did that math right. In order to be considered like a valid artist, you had to be a part of this elite academy. It was really looked down upon to create art if you weren't a part of this elite group. In the mid-1800s, we had a group of artists that were challenging that. When the realism era really came into play, started creating art about regular, everyday people doing regular, everyday things. And it really created a domino effect. From there, we had the Impressionists, Dada, Surrealism, all of these contemporary modern art eras that were coming out of this idea of challenging the status quo, challenging what it meant to be an artist. We're reaching an era like that now, today, in film. Everything that I do at Unidentified Films, all the films, that I'm working on, that I create for my YouTube channel, is my way of challenging the status quo, that you don't need to be a part of some elite group in Hollywood to make films. That's where my issue with the Academy really starts, because it is a celebration of this elite group of gatekeepers, and they like to create this facade that they are pro-art when at the end of the day they're just pro-money. And I do think that there are exceptions. I think A24 is fantastic and really does truly believe in the arts. And I think it's amazing that Everything Everywhere All at Once won Best Picture last year and swept up the Oscars. It was so unexpected. And see, that's where it tips the scale of this love-hate relationship that I have with the Oscars. It's really commercialized, and there definitely is a lot of criticism towards the Academy for prioritizing films from major studios that have had these large studio backing, and also like this abundance of Oscar bait films. There was a time where Oscar bait was a term to describe a film that's trying way too hard. It's almost like a parody of an Oscar-nominated movie. But now there are movies, like when you watch the trailer, you're like, oh, they made this movie to get to the Oscars. They're Oscar baiting. But what's interesting is that these Oscar bait films are making it to Oscar season. They like to pick favorites. It becomes very subjective. It's an academy of an elite group of people that are picking out these movies for you and telling you which ones are the best of the year. And that just doesn't make any sense to me. Where's the public opinion in this? There are some like People's Choice Awards and things like that, but they're not as high and held in as high regard as the Oscars. The Golden Globes is still considered even second to the Oscars. We think about this. And I think that people are starting to notice this. People are starting to see that maybe the Oscars are not the end-all be-all for film opinion. People are also starting to see the impact that this has on smaller films. This word Oscar snub. And we're seeing that, smaller films not getting the recognition they deserve. But then every once in a while, they'll throw you a bone. They'll be like, oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once. All right, that's a smaller film. We don't normally do this. All right, let's get them off our backs by just throwing them a bone real quick. Oh, look what we did. We chose a smaller film. Please don't come for me no more. I agree with the outcome, but I question the intentions. The nominees for this Oscar season were just revealed recently, and it just got me to thinking about a lot of things like what's going to be the stunt this year. It's become a place of stunts. What's the crazy thing that's going to happen this time? I started noticing this several years ago when, they announced the winner was going to be La La Land, and it ended up it was actually Moonlight. Huge, big thing. Hello, publicity, and I'm not saying that it was done on purpose. I'm just saying it was probably done on purpose. We've seen a continuous pattern here. Controversies and things coming out of the Oscars to drive viewership and in conversation. The Will Smith slap heard around the world. It was another big one. We're seeing the Oscars just turn into another form of mindless entertainment, akin to some kind of reality TV, tomfoolery. That's kind of what we're starting to really see. And we're seeing that more often now. So on one hand, I love to follow the films that are chosen for the Oscars. And on that same hand, I'm a filmmaker. And it has been my dream since I was a kid to stand up on that stage and accept an Oscar for my work. I've been rehearsing this in the mirror since I was 5. But on the other hand, I'm starting to realize maybe that shouldn't be my goal. If it happens, it happens, but maybe that shouldn't be my goal. There are tons of other things that are more important in the world of cinema than what a few random men in a corner and locked away in a room somewhere think of movies. There's so much more than that. And that's what my mission really is, is to make film that is open and available and, and transparent and real stories told by real people with real communities involved. And that's what I want to try to empower other artists to do. You don't have to sell out to this academy. You don't have to sell out to this industry in order to do what you want to do and be successful doing it. And so with that being said, that's just my small little constructive rant about the Academy. Again, thank you guys so much for watching that physical, media video of mine. It's almost got 10,000 views, which is crazy. I've never made that many views on a video before, so I really appreciate. If you're new, thank you so much for subscribing. It means the world to me. I'm really trying to build this, brand. It's very important that, I continue my mission and have more people be involved with watching it. So thank you so deeply if you're a new subscriber. And also, if you are watching this video and you haven't subscribed and you've made it this far, please click the bell icon, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much. And I'll see you next time.